As of today, I have paid off over $35,000 worth of student loan debt. I started out with about $90,000 or so worth of student loans, and now I only have about $55K. Stay tuned to figure out how I ended up paying all of that off, and more importantly, how you can apply some of those principles to pay off a huge amount of debt in your life. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Name's Lindeezy, where we talk about motivation, travel, and inspiration. However, today we're going to kick off the second episode of the Financial Freedom Series, Debt Edition. Before we jump in, I just wanted to give a warm thank you to everybody that reached out and shared their stories with me about the debt they're trying to pay off. I love hearing about things like that because I do know that most Americans do have debt. So it feels good that we're all going to tackle this together. Please keep this up as we continue with this series. I love to hear your stories. So this isn't a financial channel where we're going to get super deep into the numbers. I per se like to focus more on the human element, the psychological element of paying off debt. What is your why? What keeps you wanting to pay off debt? And most importantly, to be consistent as you do that. Because numbers clearly say pay this much per month and you'll be out of debt. But that's almost a little too easy, right? You have to factor in how people feel about paying off debt, what keeps them going in tough times. I'll be covering 3 distinct topics. The first is I'll go into detail on how I paid off almost $40K worth of student loan debt. The next topic is I'll talk about the goals I have every month and the dollar amount that I plan on putting towards student loans. And the last being the biggest key to paying off any debt in your life. I have a goal of trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year. If I provide any value today in this video, do me a favor and like, comment, subscribe. And with that, let's hop into the video. So what did I do to pay off $40,000 worth of student loans within a span of 6 to 8 months? The truth is I had to build my confidence up. There is no way in the world I would have jumped to making $5,000 payments right out the gate when I first started thinking about paying off my debt. So when I come today and I start talking about like these huge numbers, it's only because I've done this consistently over time. Because you can look at a number like 40,000 and be like, this guy is crazy, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do that. But I'm telling you from personal experience, you never know what you're capable of until you just start small and it just accumulates over time. You'll look up and it won't even make sense how much money you can pay towards debt just because you've done it so long, you've done it consistently, and you're able to really just chip at that debt every single month. So it says here that I only had $82,000 worth of student loans, but that isn't true. I had an interest actually that accumulated while I wasn't paying these loans off. Always think about interest when you're getting a loan because people aren't just gonna lend you money for no reason. They're gonna have to get their money out of it. I'm pretty proud of what I've done. I never thought I was ever gonna pay these loans. Again, I thought Biden was gonna take care of these. He didn't, so I came up with a plan to take care of them myself. I just wanna encourage you, I'm not done yet. We're gonna get done with these loans. Come along for the ride. I know I got a long way to go, but that's totally fine because once I pay them off, they will be done forever. Along those 6 to 8 months has been a tough road. Some months I've been able to do more, some months I've been able to do less. But I just looked at my books at the end of every month and I was like, how much can I possibly pay towards these student loans? Let me know if you paid off any serious amount of debt before, whether it be a credit card, your student loans in entirety. Let me know, I want to hear those stories. What do I plan on paying each month towards my student loans? So I want to aggressively pursue a goal of $5,000 a month just because if I pay $5,000 a month, I can have these loans paid off by the end of next year. That number can be stifling, that number can be big, but I didn't always start with the amount of $5,000 a month. You see, before I started paying off student loan debt, I had credit card debt as well. And I maybe owed $5,000 on one card, $3,000 on another, so a good amount of money, but nothing close to the amount I owe for student loans. All I did was every month pay about maybe $200 to $300 on just one credit card, and now I am here to say that I am fully debt-free from a credit card perspective. So no matter where you are on your journey to pay off debt, there's always something you can put towards your debt to slowly start to build momentum to get it all paid off. That might be $100 a month. That might be $200 a month. Start with what works for you. I even had one month where I had a record high of $7,000 a month towards student loans. Had you told me I would have been able to do that maybe a year or two ago, I would have thought you were smoking crack. I would have thought you was going crazy. It was no way I was gonna be able to put $7,000 towards student loans. But I'm here to say, if you start small and build momentum, you will be surprised at how much money you're able to put toward loans once you get a system and a routine figured out. As you're moving along this journey, be happy for anything that you have paid off, whether it be something very minute or something grand, because this stuff is hard. It's hard to pay off debt. It's easy to get into, but it's really hard to get out of it sometimes, especially when you have interest on top of which you borrowed. Now we're gonna jump into the most important tip or the biggest key to paying off any debt in your life. You can have the best budget, you can have the best Excel spreadsheet, you can have all the best apps, but it does not matter unless you are consistently paying off debt. One pitfall I had when I was a bit younger, and I still struggle with this, is I like to plan. I like to write down numbers, I like to create spreadsheets and everything, and that's all fine and dandy. That planning portion is very important when you want to think about being detailed when attacking a goal, but the most important thing is to, on a consistent basis, deliver results. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many cells I have color green, blue, black, or whatever. If I don't pay consistently towards my student loan debt, it's gonna still be there. For example, let's say I'm paying off a credit card debt and I go off the gate, I'm real hype about it, and I go ahead and I pay $200 for 3 months. So that's $600, right? I can maybe take my foot off the gas. Taking that foot off the gas is the first step to you falling back into bad habits, running up more debt, and really ultimately not meeting your goal. Versus if I say, you know what, I'm just gonna do $100 a month, that's something I can do that's very feasible, that's something really consistent. You do that for at least a year, in a few months, you paid that debt off. You did what you could do at the time. You picked something that was consistent. That's the biggest thing I can give you. If you don't leave with anything else, leave with this. Be consistent or you will not pay off your debt. There's gonna be ebb and flows. There's going to be high months and low months, but never give up, stay consistent, and come up with tangible expectations that you can hold yourself to. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna pay $10,000 a month. That's amazing on paper, that sounds good. I'd be done with my debt by the end of the year. But I know that's not tangible and I couldn't keep it up long term. And really, that's with anything in life, beyond just paying off debt. You need to be consistent with everything that you want to improve in your life. You do that, you will have it made. So to end this video, let's determine 3 things. Pick one debt that you want to pay off. Decide how much you can consistently put towards that debt each month. And then based on how much you're putting towards it each month, calculate when you'll be done paying that debt. I think it's also important to have an end date in mind, because the end date allows you to see past the debt. It allows you to think about what are you going to do with that money now that you're debt free or you don't have that specific debt anymore. And let's hold each other accountable. Let's be consistent with this. Let's see how far this gets us. Let's pay off this debt and then we can start putting that money into a really fun thing. And I will say, at the end of this series, I'm going to do another financial series, and it's going to be basically how to have $100,000 in the stock market. I've already started that journey within some other accounts that I have. As soon as I pay off this student loan debt, I'll be able to throw way more into it to be able to meet that goal of $100,000 in retirement. Because once you hit $100,000 in retirement, that compound interest that you get is amazing. What is your why? Why do you want to pay off this debt? Because it's going to be times when you really don't feel like paying off your debt, or you want to get that extra beer. And by all means, we're going to have times like that. Don't be a stick in the mud. But we need to consistently, at least 80-20, be making better decisions that will allow us to pay off debt timely manner. On the next episode, I will tell you if I've met that $5,000 worth of student loan debt payment for the month of October. And you'll let me know if you met your goals as well. It goes both ways. And if you haven't seen episode 1, I'll go ahead and put it on the screen now. Check that out. It basically goes into the origin story of how I got into the student loan debt and what made me want to pay it off. All right, I will see you next week with a new video. Until then, peace.